Were you ever discouraged by the fact that women's football didn't get the attention that men's football got? And thought...
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it was, yeah. I think you do get this sort of really ignorant attitude to it. And, you know, people always called you a tomboy and, you know, called you a boy and, you know, said different things, really, that made you feel like it was weird and made me feel like it wasn't normal. But I can't say it's discouraged me because I kept playing. And, you know, I'm here now as an England player with, you know, loads of caps and, you know.
And I mean, women's football is massively on the rise at the moment because, like, especially in the media, I think it's, like, definitely in the last few years. Why do you think that shift is happening?
I think the Olympics massively helped. I think the Olympics in London was, you know, a huge sort of like watershed for people and, you know, for people to just take note of a lot of sports. And everyone got on the back of it. And women's football opened up the Olympics. And so people sort of opened their eyes and were like, wow, this is actually amazing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with it. There was a huge shift. And we obviously did well at the Olympics as well. And, you know, we won at Wembley and all that kind of stuff. So I think from then, really, there's been a huge change in the women's game. And, you know, clubs as well, you know, the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, you know, Liverpool. They've started to realise that actually having a good women's team is great for public relations. And it is all-inclusive and it does, you know, engage another fan that's different from the sort of typical male fan. And so I think everyone's just cottoned onto it and realised actually, you know, there's something in this.
And going back to the pay difference, I know it's like it's not all about money, but how much is it kind of a conversation in your environment in football that there is such a kind of massive pay gap between men and women?
Well, I think you know, I think sometimes people look at the pay gap and think that it is, you know, unfair. But actually, I think if you look at it objectively, you know, male players get paid what they get paid because that's what the market is. They get paid, you know, in the same way if you went to a Rihanna concert and you wanted to pay 90 quid for the ticket, that's because there's a demand to pay 90 quid for the ticket. There's a lot of money that night. And so, you know, in the male game, you know, there's a huge market for it. You know, brands want to pay millions on teams. People want to pay out of their noses to watch. You know, people spend their whole wage paying for season tickets. It's just how it is. The women's game hasn't got that yet. It hasn't got there yet. And so we can't really expect the same level of pay. What does bother me is when, you know, there is a huge disparity in sort of prize money and stuff like that. There are the similar sponsors in the game. So, for instance, the FA Cup final recently, you know, the disparity in the amount of money that you know, that the winning team got in comparison to the winning team in the men's game, even though there was a title sponsor that probably would have paid a lot of money to be a title sponsor. I think that's the issue that we need to address. The imbalances sometimes in terms of the commercial, you know, TV money. Why isn't TV money distributed to teams? Why isn't, you know, why aren't teams seeing some of that money? Why isn't you know, the prize money the same? I think, you know, the days of where women are sort of subservient and, you know, in the background and, you know, their talents aren't allowed to be expressed, I think those days should be gone. And I think women's football is a great platform for women to be bold and to express themselves and, you know, to be empowered.
Thank you so much. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Bye.